you want to get a feel for what your end goal is and what you're going to need, and then build your building blocks to get there. So at any given point in the timeline, you may not be doing what you want to do. You may actually hate it, but it's helping prepare you for what it is you're trying to do. So manufacturing, engineering jobs suck, but you get great experience so that one day you can be a really good design engineer. If you have incredible technical skill, now you can manage incredibly technically skilled people. Like, don't be so quick to start the business and be the boss man. If a couple of years of really honing your skill will accelerate you way past anything else you can do. Hi, I'm Zane with Zane Engineers Life. Today we've got in Freddy Torres, who's an amazing student and worked with us quite a bit in the past. He's going to have an amazing future, and he's in today, and we're going to talk about future career path. So, Freddy, you ready to get started?
Sure, yeah. I guess I'll introduce myself. My name is Freddy Torres. I'm a mechanical engineering student at Kansas State University. I'm originally from Venezuela. All right.
So what's up, man? What can I do for
you? Basically, I wanted to talk about the future. I know I have an internship lined up for the summer, which I accept and everything. It's going to be with automation. The company is called Rockwell Automation.
Sure.
So my supervisor told me that there's like two paths that I could take, because I told her that, hey, I'm taking this robotics class right now, and she was like automatically, oh, I have a better idea. And like, I had something already planned that I was gonna do, but then
Sure.
she came up with something else, which is like working in the automation lines.
Sure.
Not like in the office, like working with like technical experts and everything. But I have been given a better thought over the last school year, and everything, and I feel I'm not that engineering savvy kind of person. I do like my major. I do like everything. Like, I do like engineering. I enjoy watching it, but at the end of the day, it's like I cannot spend like 8 hours like those other kids on school, like coding, like breaking their asses and brain for that, or like the mechanical ones. I'm more like I like to help grow things. You know that I've been like president of this organization for the last school year. Like, we've been helping other orgs to grow. We've been helping this one. We got nominated for best school org like for the year. Now I want to get I'm looking for the nomination for the national standpoint
Sure.
for the chapter, and I feel that I've been wanting to start learning about how to make my business and everything. To be honest, I feel like that's a path that I've been wanting to. I still want to see the internship and try the internship with that, but I feel like that's the career path that I want to take.
Sure.
Like I mentioned, I don't feel like engineering savvy that I can look at drawings. Like, I can understand them and everything, and I can learn how to do the stuff, but at the end of the day, I don't feel like I'm that kind of person that's been every day doing that.
So let's walk back for a second.
Okay.
So what's the actual outcome here, Freddie? What are you looking for help with? What's your question? What is it that I can help you do today?
When can if I can start in the fall.
Gotcha. So you're coming in to ask for a job,
basically,
or a career, or a path, or something. Is that basically it? Let's go back for a minute. So you've got your internship.
Yes.
And then when you work in automation, be careful there. Find out, do they want you running a PLC and coding and programming and troubleshooting a line?
They said no program.
Or do they want you managing projects? Are you a manufacturing engineer and you're trying to fix the line and keep it going? Be real careful what they're asking you to do there. See what your travel is, all those kind of things. Get a feel for what you actually do and who you're going to be working with, and see if you can get some names and look them up and make sure that's somebody you can actually learn some stuff from. The other thing is that it's only summer, so it's only a couple months. Doesn't matter. Even if it blows, you'll make a bunch of contacts, and you'll have Rockwell on your resume, which is a good thing to have, right?
Yeah.
Big companies, Lockheed's and Rockwell's and all those kind of things on there are kind of good ones to have.
The funny part is that I had I had this call with the person who's gonna be my supervisor last Friday because I wanted to ask. You know, they usually tell you like some stuff, but I want to ask like really, what am I gonna be doing? And I also wanted to ask her like, hey, how can I be more prepared? Like, what are you like? What
Sure.
will I be using so I can look that up?
Really good questions.
She told me that one of the parts is gonna be like, using. She's gonna assign me a project. They use AutoCAD, which surprised me. I thought they were using SolidWorks and stuff like that, but they use AutoCAD.
Is it Inventor? Or is it 3D? Or is it 2D plant layout type stuff?
I think it's more like 3D.
Okay.
So.
AutoCAD's bought up a bunch of stuff and folded Inventor in and all this kind of thing. So.
And then she told me that we're gonna have like assemblies, and we need to analyze them and talk with the team how to optimize those, like,
Okay.
those products and everything. But the other part, which is the automation part line, it's about. She told me that my role would be like going side to side with the persons, like knowing how to troubleshoot like the machines, like in case
Yeah.
like
It'd be a great experience.
customers have this, so they're gonna have it like taking pictures and putting like technical like documentation for when it's
No, it'd be a great experience. I think all, especially mechanical engineering students, should work in manufacturing for at least 1 or 2 semesters. It doesn't matter even what you're doing. Just being around the machines, being around the assembly lines, being around the people, seeing how products go through, what matters, figuring out how to design for automation, how to put certain things in so the machine can sense it or pick it or do it better. Those are all great, amazing things to learn and get to see firsthand and get your hands dirty. The other part is, in most places, you can end up working 1,000 hours a day, which means you can get a lot more experience in a short period of time. When I worked as a co-op, the first thing we did is we talked the company into sponsoring an apartment in the hood of the town in a really bad spot, and we didn't care because we were really just storing a few clothes and some stuff because we tried to work 24 hours a day, right? And we actually, at this one particular plant my friend and I worked at, we actually talked the plant manager into letting us put an RV in the parking lot so we could work more, right? And then he found out that we had talked the maintenance guy into running power and water out there for us, and he decided to cut that off. So we ended up having to get an apartment, right? So we talked the company and helped them pay for it. So we have this apartment, but we talked our managers into, they had a rule that, hey, you could work as many hours as you want, but you wouldn't get overtime for things over 40. We didn't care. We just wanted the experience, right? So we'd work our full job during the day, and then we'd go out and help the plant 4 in the night. So we'd be up there, 12, 16 hours a day working on the assembly lines and doing various things. And there was one spot where my roommate and I actually, we were working on ladder logic and the programming and the controllers and the PLCs. We were working on Allen Bradley's at the time. And we had noticed in this line, we had an idea of how we thought we could make the line go faster, but no one would buy into what we were saying, right? And we didn't really take it to too many people because it was kind of, it was a possibility, but it wasn't a sure thing. Well, in the middle of the night, one night, Brian and I decided to just screw it. We're just going to change the program and not tell anybody. So we changed it and we left. And we came in the next morning a little late, and people were just wigging out because the line was running like 15% faster and no one could figure out why. And so we just looked at each other and, high-fived or fist bumped or whatever it was we did at the time and walked away, and we never told a soul. Right? Because that could have gone super south, right? Okay. But the important thing was get as much experience as you can while you're there. So if you can stay late, even if you're not getting paid, hang out in the machine shop. Have the dude teach you how to run a milling machine. Run the CNC, run the lathe, run this, run that. Go with the inspection guy. Go with the oiler guy that goes around all the machines. Make sure you talk to everybody in the plant. It's great experience, and I think everyone should get some manufacturing experience before they graduate. So great that you're doing the internship. Rockwell's going to look good on the resume. You'll be able to write it up as, like people do on LinkedIn, where, stapling papers, like 3 pages. Paragraphs. Write a massive paragraph, and all they really did was empty the trash and make some copies. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. 100%. So you'll be able to write it up pretty well, right? With cool buzzwords and all kind of things.
That is funny, because you look at higher up people and they have
Oh, we know exactly what they're saying when you read it.
It's like trash. two paragraph
prepositions. It's like 3 weeks of actual work experience, but it sounds like they invented time travel. But it's going to be a really good experience. So very smart of you to do that, and that's going to be fun.
In the good part, I'm sorry.
Sure.
is she told me that there was one thing that was better that she thought about is like which was assigning a project that will involve both like doing
Well, you just work extra hours and do both.
yeah uh
Make
which
sure
I
you're making good contacts and taking people to lunch and all the things that I've taught you over the years, right?
yes
You want to leave there with a big old group of people that you know really, really well,
yes
right? Especially other interns and stuff, because that connects you to whole other schools, right?
that is cool.
And then you also, here's something else to think about, Freddie. You want to leave the path for the people coming behind you. You want to show that KSU mechanical engineering kids are amazing and they should hire 10 more of you, and go ahead and set up somebody to take your spot in the fall and take your spot in the spring and take your spot next summer. See if you can make that happen.
Yes.
And because it's one of those things, when you get to the top, send that elevator back down for the other people.
Yeah,
You
that's
know
what
I
I
mean?
did with the last internship. Like, apparently, I gave a good impression that they hired 3 of Shep.
Exactly.
So
And that's exactly what you're trying to do, right? You're just trying to create opportunity
they
for those behind you.
hired Abigail, the one that took
Sure.
the books. That one.
She needs to bring my books back. Abigail, if you're out there, I want my books back. Right. So let's go into kind of what your question is for a minute. So here's something to think about, Freddie. So right now, and for the next couple of years, is your really true opportunity to hone your craft and get really good at what you're doing. So you might consider, see, what you're going to want to do, and I'll ask you this question in a minute, but let me just kind of talk out the framework for a second. You want to get a feel for what your end goal is and what you're going to need, and then build your building blocks to get there. So at any given point in the timeline, you may not be doing what you want to do. You may actually hate it, but it's helping prepare you for what it is you're trying to do, right?
Right.
Some manufacturing, engineering jobs suck, but you get great experience so that one day you can be a really good design engineer, for instance, right? Same thing, if you have incredible technical skill, now you can manage incredibly technically skilled people. See, one of the things, and you've already noticed it in engineering, you got to be really good, really smart, a super nerd, and renew your knowledge literally every 30 days, right? I mean, imagine how obsolete I am. You're obsolete. Imagine how obsolete I am, right? Compared to what's actually going on in the world.
Right.
But I understand and have enough experience in those areas that I know what's going on. And I can get up to speed pretty quickly on something, right? So that's something you ought to think about is, what is my end goal and what is I'm trying to do? Like if I want to run an automation company one day, you might actually want to work building automated equipment for a little while. Like don't be so quick to start the business and be the boss man.
Yeah.
If a couple of years of really honing your skill will accelerate you way past anything else you could do, right? Well, you want to get 2 and 3 and 4 for ones, right? So you want to be able to work in a group that's going to be like the one you want to do one day. Like for me, I knew one day I wanted to teach. So I knew that I probably should work in consulting because I would get a lot of experience in a short period of time. I'd make connections in a lot of different areas. I'd work in a lot of different industries. I'd never be pigeonholed on one project because in consulting, your project changes every 3 weeks. You don't ever get to do the same thing the second time, right?
Right.
So constant experience. I also knew I had to get my PE license, which would look good in academics, right? Hey, I'm licensed in 40 something states.
Right.
I've probably got some authority when I step in front of you in the classroom, right? Even if I don't know how to do it, I can figure out how to do it. So my pattern was building those blocks to help get me so that one day I could teach, right? Now, along the way, I grew up in small business. I've always been entrepreneurial. I hustled pool and ran a football book in high school. You know, I've always been a hustler and those kind of things. So I knew I would probably gravitate into my own business. But I wasn't in a big hurry to get there. And that's what I'm getting at. I actually had a key spot in my career where I had a choice. I had been the technical engineer. I got my master's degree. I got really good at stuff. And I started working in consulting. And I gravitated over into management, building the department, training people, processes, working customers, sales, and all those kind of things, right? Mm-hmm. And then through a lot of political issues and a big political knife right between my shoulder blades, I got let go. Well, I had a key moment in time. Do I get a job being the manager and the builder and, you know, running a company, or do I get a job as an engineer again? And I got an offer in both, so I could decide what I wanted to do. And I actually went back and I took a job at a company where I went from the smartest person in the building to the dumbest. Like I worked with guys that had PhDs in engineering and had been doing it for 20 and 30 years. They were the best I've ever seen at some of the things they did. Absolutely amazing. And I learned so much in my couple of years working there. I basically retooled all of my engineering skills that had kind of eroded while I was being the manager in the building and all those kind of things, right? And that boost helped me greatly. That's actually when my company started. I actually was moonlighting when I started this company and working at that company. Because I was able to work as an engineer all day and get really technical and really detailed. And then I was able to work as a business person at night and sell and work projects and that kind of thing. So you might want to think about that. I wouldn't immediately jump into, all right, it's time to start my business. Well, you've also got the opportunity to stack cash. So you can stack cash, connections, and technical ability.
Right.
So that might be the best spot for you for the first couple of years, is to find something that eventually gets you where you want to get, right?
My current vision, I have the own business, which is working like very smoothly, and also like kind of helping others to grow. And I feel like jumping right now, yeah, obvious too, but I need to learn first how you help to grow one, like, you know, and all the skills that it requires for that.
Sure.
You know, like steps before jumping into that. And I know you told me about your plans and everything with Phoenix, like the other, besides engineering, the other ones.
Sure.
You know, and learning from the people, you know, doing that and helping those who grow. I feel like eventually at some point, you know, I can create mine and we help others as well.
100%. Well, and you also know that you're not going to be the smartest person in the room.
I don't like to be the smartest person in the room.
Well, and it may just not connect with you at that level where you're like, yeah, I'm going to be the extreme egghead, you know,
right.
Major technical expert engineer, because you have skills in other areas. You know, and that's why I've talked to you in the beginning. You've got an ability that other people don't have, so we definitely want to take advantage of that, right? God-given ability, you know, you've got some things to do with it. So if like 10 years from now, you're still working as a technical engineer and not talking to anybody during the day, I'll come find you and beat your ass, right? Because you got bigger things to do. I really love that you're already starting to think about it, because you've definitely got the ability and we definitely need you to have you doing it, 100%. Go on and fill out that technical skill as best you can, stack cash and all these kind of things while you're figuring out what it is you want to do. And why don't we go there for a moment? Like, what is it you eventually want to do? Like 10 years from now, what would be perfect, Freddy?
The perfect Freddy?
Perfect Freddy 10 years from today. What's Freddy doing? What's he thinking? Where's he at? What impact's he making? All that kind of stuff.
10 years, the perfect scenario be like having 40 ways of income. Which is what I like. Eventually.
So someone's told you that you need many streams of income, and you've locked into that.
Not someone. You know that there's opportunity everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Sure.
I feel like there's opportunity to, you know, get into real estate. You know, you don't have to necessarily learn how to do real estate. Like you can find someone that can help you with that.
Sure. Well, what's your end outcome of all these things, though?
Teaching, like helping people to understand that, you know, there is nothing impossible at the end of the day.
Right.
I feel like one of the businesses that I want to have eventually is like, first, I want to have one with soccer, related to soccer, which is, yeah, but yeah.
So you need a soccer business.
And another one that I haven't, I don't know yet, what the other one wanna do, because I feel like if you do something that you don't love, it's not gonna work, right? Right now I'm still exploring. Why? Because you'll be in prison, kind of like in prison too. Feel like.
What if it's getting you where you want to get? I mean, wouldn't you change tires on cars every single day for 12 hours a day for a year for $4 million? Because the $4 million gets you where you want to get. But you don't love doing it. We all would, right?
Yeah, but wouldn't eventually get at some point that it's like, damn, I'm tired of doing this. Well,
yeah, but it would get you to where you want to get, right? There's a means to an end there. Right. So the people that say do what you love, it's a bunch of crap. But do what you love when you have a bunch of money. Okay. Do what you love later in life. Build your eventual future into what it is you want to do and make sure you love doing that. But you don't need to love what you're doing the whole time. It's basically an excuse for people to not work hard, right? Oh, I got to do what I love doing. Okay, well, go play guitar in the subway and see if people give you money, right? Or work a job, make a bunch of money, and have a big stack of reserves so that then you can take 2 months off and go travel with your band and play your guitar. You got me? See the difference there? Right. Sometimes you got to do what you don't love to be able to eventually do what it is you want to do. You don't have to do what you love the whole time. I think it's a bunch of crap. That's an excuse for people to not work hard and not do things.
But I feel like
do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. That's
right.
crap. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew quite a few friends that loved golf and became professional golfers, and they hate it. So they took their hobby that they loved, and now they have to do it every day to eat, and they hate it. So be very careful of listening to that crap.
Okay.
I think it's more important to figure out where it is you're trying to get, and that's why I asked you the question the way I did. Like, what's the perfect Freddy 10 years from now? And now we just build backwards.
Yeah. For example, right now, I feel like with the organization we're at right now, I feel like I see other orgs. They see us like at the top level and everything, and it was not just my work; it was help from the previous board and everything that they started build up. I just like doing my best to keep that up as well, and I see the other ones, and I see how they need help. Like we help them sometimes. Like to them, and I feel like.
So you want to be able to stay involved in this organization and help it grow and help people in it.
Like I feel.
But to do that, you've got to create some way to support your own life so you can spend your time doing that, right?
Yeah, but I'm not going like I'm staying with the org like for forever in my life.
Sure.
I'm just saying like having.
Well, you'd like to hand it off better than you found it for sure, and you've probably already done that. To give yourself some credit, it may not be much further you have to take it. Here's the thing: you don't have to save everybody, Freddy. Right?
At the end of the day, I feel like having a business that helps people grow, it's amazing. That's why I was saying like the soccer one. It's one of the examples.
Sure.
If I give you an example.
Well, same thing for me. I love basketball, but so I created a company that would help pay my bills so that I could spend my time coaching basketball.
Right.
That's kind of the long-term goal. I do something I don't necessarily enjoy very much to be able to do the thing I enjoy greatly.
Right, which is.
I want to back up for a minute though, because I think this is very important. I think a lot of people would want to hear this from you, Freddy. Just super briefly, and you know, you don't have to get too personal if if you don't want to. Give me your background.
My background?
Yeah, talk me through. Where are you from?
Okay.
How'd you leave it? You know, what opportunity did you come into? What is it you're trying to do?
Okay.
Tell me about your family a little bit. Are you the first to go to college? Those kind of things.
Okay. So I guess, yeah, like I said before, I was from Venezuela. I am from Venezuela. I grew up for 18 years in Caracas, which is the capital. My two parents are dentists. I have a sister. I am thankful that we have like a relatively good life there. Thankfully, we got the opportunity that my father has two sisters that live here in the U.S. and they've been living here for 20 years. They came here even before everything got messed up in Venezuela. So they just wanted to come. Like they wanted to see how the life it is, and I mean it's been more than 20 years and they are here.
Sure.
So thankfully they've been here along that I was able to, come to this country and stay with them. So the reason I wanted to come here, I know there's opportunity in this country.
Well, talk about for a minute, like what were your opportunities in Venezuela versus your opportunities here?
In Venezuela,
did your parents come over? Was there strife? Were you running from anything? Did you have to get out? Or did you just see this as an opportunity and you felt like you needed to go?
Yes. So in Venezuela, I wanted to study engineering. Venezuela, it's at a point right now that there's no work for engineers. You don't have companies that are hiring engineers. Like most of the people right now, they're doing like business, like their side businesses and everything for that. And they do business just to, get cash and, like they don't do engineering because like you won't be doing anything. I know some friends that stayed there in Venezuela. They started engineering, now they're studying business because there was an opportunity for them to, they told me, it's like, where am I gonna work if I study engineering? And they said that they went to business just to help their parents, like the ones that have like businesses in it and that thing. And for me, when I was in school, I really wanted to work in something related to engineering back then.
What was your inspiration for that?
My
Family
inspiration,
members, or
yeah,
saw something cool in a movie, or like what was your inspiration?
my inspiration was like like those military tanks and jets and everything. Like seeing those tanks and jets, and it's like, damn, how did they build that? It's
Gotcha.
like, and I have an uncle that's he's an aerospace engineer, and he works with that. So I used to ask him like, hey, what is this? Like, what's up with this? Like,
So you were into fighter jets and tanks and all kinds of cool stuff like
yeah,
that.
like building that.
Okay.
Which you don't realize back then when you're a kid in Venezuela, that you gotta be a U.S. citizen to work on that. Which you find out when you get here. It's like, oh shit.
Oh, so you came over to actually be like in aerospace and work on planes
Yeah.
and tanks and stuff, and they're like, nah, Freddy, we're good.
Yeah. Like that was actually my dream. Like aerospace.
Oh, okay.
Like, or going to space or something like that.
Sure. Go to Embry-Riddle and work at Lockheed.
Not Lockheed, like NASA. Like going through like there. Because I felt like I had the potential and everything. It's just that it gets to a point that, you start seeing, and my uncle was like, all the time, like, hey, it's gonna be hard in the U.S. and in like to get like for U.S. citizens, no, for non-U.S. citizens to get jobs in those industry, but there might be some places, and it got to a point that I was like, I was looking for companies and everything, and they're like all they do not offer sponsorship for other nationalities, and
Gotcha.
they don't hire non-U.S. citizens. And I was like, okay, like people told me, it's like, okay, you can get a green card and everything, and then work on that. But to be honest, it got to a point that it wasn't my dream anymore, and I was like, nah, to be honest, I don't want to do this. I feel like I don't see myself anymore in that place.
Right.
Because people change over the years.
Yeah, sure.
And it happened to me. So.
Well, you're exposed to more stuff, and so you kind of see
Right.
other things that you might want to do now.
But yeah, like it got to that point that I really liked my major. Like that's why I've been keeping with my major. I was in a point that I didn't know like how like what I wanted to do. I wanted to get in like, start trying industries to see where I was at. So that's why last summer I was in the construction industry, like working with this company.
What'd you think about the construction industry?
Huh?
What'd you think about the construction industry?
It's interesting to work with people to different departments to get something done, but at the end of the day, that kind of industry, it's boring for me. Like, I gotta be honest. There were some stuff like over there that you don't realize when you're outside and you get into the industry. It's like you gotta pay attention to, like the civil stuff, which is like the dirt, like like the counter like different layers of dirt that there has to be, working with concrete, paying attention to sewer lines and everything so you don't fucked up the street or stuff like that. And I was like, damn, this is kind of boring, like for me, like I don't see myself.
Right.
That's why I did the 180-degree shift, and I was like, right now I'm going to automation.
Yeah, right.
So try that out. But
well, and talk about that. So, how important is it to just go out there and try stuff? Like, if you think you want to do something, you're kind of saying just go try it, and then if it sucks, do something else.
This is an interesting thing to talk, because when people say okay, you don't know if you don't like it, but try it, it's like you might get the misconception of like drugs, you know, like when people pressure you, it's like, hey,
Yeah.
have you done drugs? It's like, no. Why don't you try? It's like, no, because I don't want to. Like, you know, because with that kind of stuff, like, I feel there's like scientific proof that it's like it can affect your life, but this thing, like, it's a complete, like, for me, it's a completely different kind of situation, which is about finding yourself. I feel like people underestimate the feeling of trying stuff like out there, like working in some place. And here goes like the thing about opportunities. I know some people that are working like, you know, as a like on restaurants and, you know, like shops or whatever, and they tell me that they want to do this stuff. They want to work in this industry or whatever, and but they're working there, and I'm like, why don't you just go work there? Like if I was me, I wouldn't be working at McDonald's. I would be just applying for all these places and telling them like, hey, I'm studying this, and you might also get a co-op, which is what most of the companies want to, but I cannot do a co-op. I feel like trying and going back to what you asked, like trying stuff is good for people because it's like a path, and you're like a boat that it's building like the rail. The okay, I'm gonna try this, and you bump like in the way. It's like, okay, I don't want to do this. Like you go in different way, bump. You don't want to do this, bump. You don't want to do this, you bump. That you're eventually gonna be like, okay, I want to do this.
Okay.
So,
That makes sense.
uh, and you go straight to what you want to be, right?
So come up with a couple of things you might be interested in and go try them out.
Right.
And then if they resonate, you keep going. And if they don't resonate or bump, you come back on course and get back to the area that you feel more comfortable in.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it can happen to, like, say you wanted to go into software. Okay, you try AI, you don't like it. You try data science, you don't like that. Cybersecurity, you don't like, and you don't like, and you don't like. And be like, okay, maybe nothing of this I liked, you know, and you might switch to different path. You don't have to study a whole other degree to learn that other stuff that you find out later that you want to do. It's just, do you know what you want to do? Do you know like the
Well,
steps
let's
get
speak
there?
to this because I think this is kind of I'll call it a cultural thing
Mhm.
and an immigrant thing because you see how much opportunity is there, so you understand and realize that I'm not painted into a corner. I don't have to stay here. There are other options. There's other things that I could do. And even if I went back to zero, that's basically where I was anyway, so I'm not really going to lose anything,
Mhm.
right? Whereas we have a lot of people in this country that are told, oh, you got to work at the same place for 100 years. And, oh, if you start doing that, they won't let you do anything else. Or, oh, you're going to be pigeonholed or any of those kind of things, right?
I think they see it more like as a loyalty kind of stuff for the company. You know, they think that if they quit and they go to somewhere else, they will start from zero. It doesn't have to be that way because you never know if a company wants you to start at the top because you were so good at that it's gonna help you and you're gonna help the other company grow. I feel like staying like 100 years in a company, probably at the beginning of their career in that company, they're gonna feel like, okay, this like I really like this, but 10 years from them, it's like, you know, I'm kind of tired. I want to try new stuff, but I cannot because, you know, I have to leave like if I leave this company, probably my kids are not gonna eat, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably gonna be broke and anything and everything. At the end of the day, you were wanting to kill yourself because you were working for like 10 years and you're not going anywhere.
Sure.
But you're getting there and you want to kill yourself for because you don't want to like be doing nothing. It's not, it doesn't mean you have been doing nothing. You
Well,
can just find new opportunities to grow other places.
see, I think you, as an immigrant, this is just a theory of mine. I think you guys actually have an advantage because you've come from less, so you're comfortable, even if you had less. You come from not having as much and the opportunities and the things. So when you get them, you're appreciative of them, you understand them, you see them, right? And you're not locked into them because you understand you could literally go back to zero and still be better off than you were. And I think it kind of gives you an advantage because you're always building from a spot forward. Whereas a lot of people in this country, they feel like it's a setback or a fallback or a failure, or they're going to look bad to everybody, or, oh, you're changing jobs again, you're no good, you're terrible, you can't figure out what you're doing.
Yeah.
Whereas you guys come in and see it as an opportunity to slowly figure out what you want to do. They see it as failure and not being able to pick something. Right. And it's just the viewpoints are so drastically different, the outcome ends up being different, right? You guys come in and absolutely swarm them and take over because you guys are taking advantage of the opportunity from a positive light, and they're seeing the opportunity from a negative light, so they can't quite get there. It's just a theory of mine. What do you think about this?
I think that the part that you said about starting from zero, I feel like after you have 10 years of experience, you didn't start from zero because you see all the like immigrants that come from the outside that they get their work visa. They've been working there for like 10 years.
True.
And this is basically starting from zero, but they're taking the other like perspective of like, okay, I'm gonna grow even more here than I was doing there.
Well, you have the confidence that you've already done it.
Right. So
you know you can do it again because the circumstances are actually easier.
Exactly. So,
and at no point could you be a failure because you're still better off than you were. The question is, how do we help people here see it that way? How do we help all these other students who are not taking advantage of these opportunities see them as opportunities?
I think the way that we can help them is to try to make them understand the psychological thing that nobody cares about you. You just care about yourself. And you were talking about this, it's like, oh, why did you quit your job? Like, you were getting money on that. It's like, but it's like, you don't care about what that person says. Like, I want to do this, like, because I want to get there. It goes to the thing like, okay, people on school, and you see it every day, that they want an internship. You know that you're the only person that it's gonna go out there and get an internship. Because they say like, okay, right now I'm working in a restaurant, but I need an internship. It's like, why aren't you doing stuff to get you to the internship? And they say that they don't have time, and I guess they're not like saying that you don't have time. And I feel like it's more like it's not your priority at the end of the day. And
if they really wanted it, they go do it, right?
Yes.
But they don't see it that way. They're creating an excuse and a barrier and something in their own mind. They're giving themselves an excuse to not go fail.
Right. And it's something that you say all the time. It's like, what if I give you $1 million if you start doing that? So,
yeah.
Like, it's about the psychological.
Well, I mean, in most cases, it's really easy to go get the restaurant job and then be too busy.
Right.
So that you don't go to the attempted internship and fail to get it. So it's a fallback spot, and then you can just say, oh, make whatever excuse. I'm too tired, I don't have time, I don't have this, I don't have that. Now you can play the victim card.
Right.
And then you don't have to go out and be a success.
And
I think people are actually afraid of being successful.
Yes. The other thing that resonates, like what I've heard, is that they say that they don't have skill to.
Well, imposter syndrome is killing everybody under 30 years old.
Yes.
Absolutely destroying you guys. Destroying you. No one thinks they're good enough to be able to do it. And then somebody like you comes in that doesn't care because you know you're terrible and you know you're going to get better and you know you're going to learn and you know you're going to figure it out and you know you're going to get there. You come in and absolutely clean up.
Right.
The opportunity is massive because everybody else is scared and afraid and doesn't think they're good enough, doesn't think they can get there. You don't care what anybody thinks. You're going to go out there and fail as spectacularly as possible and try to make it happen, right?
Yes, exactly. And I think going back to what you said, like how we can help them. I mean, if there are people like us out there, I guess, and we talked about this like a few weeks ago, it's like planting the seed on the person that they can achieve that. Because they might...
To me, it's helping them find the small win.
Yeah.
Right? Giving themselves some credit. Like, being thankful for what they already have, seeing the opportunity that they already have in front of them, right?
Right. And make, like, helping them picture the, okay, you want to get there. You're working now as in a restaurant. You want to get to this place. You want to have this internship. What skills does the internship need? And you just go to a fucking Udemy video, you learn that, you put on the resume, and
Sure.
that's that what get you in.
You write it out like your LinkedIn profile, right?
Exactly.
Here's the thing: what most people don't understand is so many people are looking for interns, and they can't find any.
Right.
You have all these people that want an internship and won't ask for it.
Exactly. And like in this organization, we have this thing that we help people, like, like sharing internships and everything. It surprised me. We have like 400 people in the group chat, and in the job opportunities, like one of the companies emailed me. It was like, hey, we have this position available for like design engineers, like for mechanical. Only 2 people send me their resume.
Yeah, out of 400 people that claim they want jobs,
and
right?
You see these people at the end of the semester be like, hey, we need help with getting jobs. And I'm like,
I just put it out there for you. Well, and here's the thing. They see that and they don't think they're good enough. So I think for us, we've got to force people to actually go try. So in your organization, you should require everyone to apply for 3 jobs every 3 months or they're kicked out of that group. Well, I've already got a job. We'll apply anyway. Because what if you could get a better job?
Right.
What if you need... I had an old boss. He went on at least 2 job interviews a year. And remember, this is 100 years ago when you didn't do that. You stayed at a company 3 or 4 years or no one would hire you again ever. Right? You were 100% loyal or you didn't get a job ever. He went on 2 interviews a year. This is a top level guy. You know why? Because he wanted to practice his skills. He wanted to see what was out there. He wanted to make sure that where he was at resonated with what he was doing so he could give his best. That's a pretty cool way to think about it, right? So I think in your organization, anybody who's an undergrad has to apply for 2 jobs this semester. Or they got to give a speech at the next convention about why they don't think it's important to get a job. Well, and that we got to figure out how do we help save people from themselves, right?
Because
it's like making the seatbelt automatic in the car. That way you don't have to worry about it, right?
Right.
You save people from themselves. So if you could save people from themselves, there's so many people that could have jobs that they want. And there's so many of that. It's like dating sites with so many people looking to meet so many people, but none of them will talk to each other.
Right.
You put them all in a room and they just look at each other and no one talks to one another. And then they go home and complain that they can't find anybody to go out with.
Probably it's gonna be the hardest one. To get in your first internship is gonna be the hardest one. But after you do the first one, it's gonna be so easy to get the second one. Because they see like, okay, they have corporate experience.
People, and you saw that the other day when we had everybody in here and we were talking. You had the one guy who had built up his first interview into this big thing.
Yeah.
Well, he's gonna fail miserably. Because he's already failed it. In his own mind, he thinks it's a big deal. It's not. Just go fail.
Right.
Go ask somebody out.
And he's just talking.
Go get told no. Go knock on a door. Go make a phone call. Just get in the practice of getting told no. If you're a dude and you're into girls, every girl you see, ask them out. Most of them are going to tell you no, but you're going to get used to talking to people, right? And who knows? Maybe you meet somebody one day that you end up marrying for 25 years. It's the same thing with jobs. Like, you should require people to talk to employers.
Right. And
almost force the speed dating, you know what I mean? Like, hey, you guys have to talk. Not get to talk, y'all have to talk.
Let's say out of 100, maybe 1.
Well, and that's all you're looking for, right?
Right.
Because as soon as you have the 1, now everybody else sees it's a possibility. Right? That's what I tell you guys as students. Like, I need you to be so good, you're an example for those coming behind you. Hey guys, Freddy was a terrible student, and he pulled it off. What about you guys, right?
Exactly.
Messing with you a little bit there, right? Freddie had no idea what he was doing, and look what he's doing now. Like, come on, if he could do it, you can do it, right?
Yeah.
When you come in and tell him the same thing, hey man, if I could do it, you could do it. I have no idea what I'm doing now.
Right. And it's like okay for them to feel like, okay, I'm a senior and I don't know what the fuck I want to do with my life. And
who does?
That was me.
I don't know what I want to do.
Until a month ago, and
sure.
I graduated in December.
Well, and even now, you think you know, and then 3 months from now, you're like, yeah, I don't want to do that, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because when you first told me you were taking the construction internship, what did I say? Why are you taking a construction internship? Oh, this is what I want to do. I'm like, that's not what you want to do, dude.
Exactly.
And you're like, well, I'm going to go check it out. And when you came back, you're like, that's not what I want to do.
Right.
But now you know. Now you can literally check the box because you actually went and checked it out.
Yeah, you checked out the whole industry over there.
My kids and I actually do that. When we're driving across the country, we'll figure out about what time lunch is and where we're going to be. And I'll have the kids get on Google Maps and we'll find restaurants where the reviews are so bad that we feel like we need to go. Right? I mean, we want just awful, like page reviews of how bad this place is.
Half a star.
And then, yeah, half a star. I'd give it -0 if I could. And then we go eat there, and half the time it's amazing. Half the time it's incredible. Right? And it's kind of cool. My kids and I enjoy it greatly. We talk about it all the time. Oh, man, this place sucks. Let's go check it out. And we go, and it's actually pretty good. Yeah. And I think more people should try that. Just get out there and fail and mess it up and hose it and realize it's not really that big a deal. Oh, 20 people don't want me. Well, good. There's only, 7.9 billion more people out here that might want you. And at least you don't have to waste time with those 20 anymore, right?
Right.
I think that's a big part of it too. Is I think people need to start crossing things off their list, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, might want to do this. Might want to. Well, go like you're doing. Go do it, and then you'll know. And then you can either put more time into getting better, or you can cross it off the list and not even waste any more brain power on it.
Right.
All right, so let's go full circle here because you're kind of looking for advice for your career and figuring out what you want to do. So let's kind of narrow down the question and the focus for a minute. Like how can I help you? Like, what's your biggest question over the next 6 months, year?
So I guess my question was about like if I can work with you to help you grow the business or learn how to grow the business so I can acquire all the skills at some point. Like I can help you out so I can get those skills so that eventually when I know what kind of business or what idea I come up with, I know how to start that.
Sure.
So, and I know it's not gonna be like a quick path or anything. Like it will take years. But like that was my main question. If I can help you during the fall, or
so you've got one more school semester in the fall. So you'll work this summer in automation.
Yes.
See if you like it. You'll go fall. You haven't thought about grad school or anything yet, right?
I feel this thing about grad school is that I have the perception that if I do grad school right now, I'm jumping in something that I don't know if I'm really gonna like. Because I feel I know people says like, hey, you have to do grad school after college because you're gonna lose the timing like yours. Like that's bullshit. I feel that you need work experience to understand like, okay, I really like what I'm doing over here.
Sure.
Like I should get more knowledge. Like
That's
after
fair.
you do it and you learn that, you're gonna be like, oh, so this is what I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the concept. So this is what I should apply for that. So right now, right after graduation, I'm not thinking about like doing
Sure.
masters.
Sure.
Like maybe a few years after that, or maybe I will think like, hey, I don't really need a master's for
Right,
doing this.
right.
I can get this skill by working on this and doing this. Because yeah, at the end of the day, it's like masters, like grad school.
Mm-hmm.
Like does that even really, like it's just like some knowledge that you can like I feel you can get either by getting the experience or like somewhere else.
Sure.
It's just that the difference, like the recognition, I guess, that people will see is like, okay, you have a master's, which
Yeah,
I
yeah,
respect. Like some schools they have like good professors and everything, which is basically also the good part that you get people who's experienced in that. But at the end of the day, right now, after college, I'm not thinking about that.
Well, let's go back one more time and we'll ask it in a bunch of different ways till we kind of get a clear direction, because then we can kind of give you a push, right? What is it you want to do? What's the perfect Freddy 10 years from now? What's the outcome? What's your goal? What's the thing on the horizon? What is it Freddy wants to die being known for?
a day in a
What is Freddy trying to do here?
a day in a life. Freddy, in 10 years, I see it as a person who's having a business that is helping people, and that business is very profitable, like very successful and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also helping the other people to be successful as well. I see myself in some place in Europe.
All right, so you think you could have impact as an entrepreneur. You feel like you could do more there. You think it could be potentially more lucrative for you. You feel like you can make a bigger impact on people. You really don't have a set business or product or line or industry or tech or any of those kind of things.
Right.
Whatever it is, it is. You just feel like that's what you're going to gravitate into is
Right.
helping people. You're a hustler. You're entrepreneurial by nature. You like to organize. You like to manage. You like to put things together. So you just feel like you're going to gravitate into that. Right.
Okay. And
so if that's the case, and we follow the Freddy theory says, why don't we just start doing that now, right? And then what Freddy said just a few minutes ago. If you want to do it, why don't you just go do it now?
Right.
Right. Okay. So you're finishing out your restaurant career, working in the automation company, and then you're going to go out and this fall finish out your degree. And basically what you're kind of saying here is, hey, is it time for me to come work in the business? Is that kind of what you're asking me at the moment?
I feel like is it the right time to go into the industry? Question for me is like, am I ready to jump into it?
Well, I mean, you're never going to be ready. The question is, what other stuff do you need to do before you do that? Because you said that's what you want to do. You want to run a business, you want to make an impact, you want to help people.
Right.
So why would you waste time doing anything else? If we follow the Freddy theory.
The Freddy theory, because with the Rockwell one, I guess it will contradict, yes.
Well, no, you need to finish that. You've already committed to it. It finishes out your degree. It gives you technical skill. It opens up a whole potential new industry. It gives you a whole bunch of new contacts.
Right.
You've got to come back in the fall and finish your degree. You better have a 4.0. You better crush your senior projects. You better be amazing, right? You also better line up like 10 job offers, right? Remember, if you have one offer, you have no choice. If you have two, you have a dilemma. If you have three, now you have a choice. So you're going to create options for you. You're going to get a whole bunch of job offers. Now, you also know that you kind of have a pocket offer for me of, hey, Freddy, when you're ready, come here and we're going to build some cool shit. If your original question was, is there an opportunity for me after I graduate with me or one of my companies? Yeah, 100%. And if your end goal is to build a company and make an impact and help others, I got lots of opportunity to do that. What I would ask for you in return is to commit to your internship and crush it, commit to your degree and get your 4.0, get you 10 job offers, and then let's sit down and see what you got.
And why not starting in fall? And here's a fun fact.
How many hours are you taking this fall?
12.
Okay. So you're taking a ridiculously small load.
12 or 14 or something like
Yeah,
that.
you should be taking 16 or 18.
The fun fact is
take an accounting class or a business class or something like that. Get an easy A, meet some people, and learn some stuff.
Yes, the fun fact is that this is my hardest semester because I left all my hardest classes this semester. So the next one, I have history, literature, and I can focus on
fall?
I can focus on my senior project, and also like preparing for what comes.
Interviewing,
after.
Getting jobs, all those kind of things, right? No, it's perfect. You should go ahead and put in your schedule 3 hours a week of career. Build your career, make the connections, get the job offer, that kind of thing. Learn the skill, write the resume, perfect for that particular opportunity, that kind of thing. I would go ahead and just put that in as one of your classes. So you're taking 12 hours, now you're taking 15. Because 3 hours are building Freddy's career.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, I was planning.
Now, why don't you just come help me now? I mean, when do I get you? Like Tuesday for an hour and then next Thursday for 15 minutes? Like that probably doesn't help me, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you're ready, you're ready. And let's get you doing some stuff. You know, if you want to come in and like tape boxes or something, I don't think that's what you want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. Because I have my schedule figured out. I don't know, it's like if you work like past certain time or which I guess
I have all kind of things, but I think you should focus on finishing out your mechanical engineering degree and setting yourself up for potential opportunities in your career. so that you have enough on the table to figure out what it is you want to do next. And if you get through all that and you're done and it's December, that's a very short time from now.
I know.
Right?
Yeah, and applying for those jobs, it has to be now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got work to do this summer. Yeah. While you're working, you got work to do. It's time to have, because a lot of companies don't necessarily hire in December. You're going to have a whole lot of issues this year. Everybody thinks everything's about to crash and burn, and in reality, in engineering, we are so overloaded with work, it's ridiculous. There's way too much going on. So we don't have any problems in our industry. Everything else is burning to the ground, but we still got to make food and pump water and create electricity and do all those kinds of things.
I feel like at the end of the day, like, it can be figured out. Like,
yeah, easily. Now, I think when you're ready, you should be totally ready. You're done with your degree. You're not focused on anything else. You're ready to work your 100 hours a week. You're ready to come and crush the hell out of it.
Yeah, that's my
you're standing there like I had Andrew, several years ago, stand right there and say, I want to run my own company one day. And I said, well, the easiest way to do that is teach you how to run this company. So that's what he's doing. He's been our comptroller. He's starting up a business services division. He went and moved from Atlanta to Chattanooga to get his MBA. He's finishing up his MBA. I mean, he's set on path, ready to roll, right? But he came in ready to work 100 hours a week and do whatever was needed, not, hey, I'm available Tuesday for 20 minutes. What you got for me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That is right.
That makes sense?
I feel like, over the fall, I can focus more.
Yeah, you need to crush your senior project.
Yes.
You need to crush your other easy classes. If you have room, I'd pump a business class in there. Okay. Take marketing or sales, something that doesn't take a lot of time. Don't take the class where you got to make a presentation every 15 minutes. Take econs and stuff like that. Get some background business sense. Those are cool. Just make sure you got an easy prof, which shouldn't be hard to figure out, right?
Right. Yeah.
You want an easy A class with good information. Like I had, my economics professor was one of the Reagan's advisors. He told us a story the first day of how he lost more money windsurfing that morning than we would make in our entire lives, and then he burned $100 bill, and dude was a trip. So I learned so much from him, and we had one test.
Yeah, the good thing is that I know people who's in the business department, so I can ask them who's a very good professor.
Give me a good prof where I don't have to put a lot of work in, where I learn something.
And then I'll look up his classes.
Yeah,
how big his class.
Sure. Throw that in, because 15 hours of histories and economics is not going to be hard. After taking 1,000 hours of engineering, it'll be gravy. You'll actually almost be the reverse, because you're going to need more to do to be able to be better.
Right.
So you're also going to block in a class for your career. You're going to write resumes, make connections, go see stuff. You've got a class in running ship, right?
Yeah, running ship.
That's a whole class in of itself.
Yeah,
that's a big load.
Yeah, it is a huge.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to stay busy. You need you need 20, 21 hours of something to keep you going. Because you're supposed to spend 3 outside of class, so that should be your 60 to 80 hour week right there. And then when you're ready, come holler at me. And we'll get you running something. Well, and we'll comb through them. I might take some of those offers, and then you can have my business. That's what I told one of my old staff. He went back to Georgia Tech, got his master's, got out and was doing some work, and he called me one day. He goes, "Hey, I got this offer to do an internship as a grad student down at Disney." He's like, "Should I do it?" I'm like, "What department's in?" "Oh, it's in the rods and working on them and bringing in new rods." And I was like, "Well, if you don't take it, I will." He's like, "Okay, well that makes sense." He's been down there for 15 years now. He's running the department. He's amazing. So there's going to be some opportunities that you might pounce on, right? All right, what else you got? What other questions? What other things can we do to help people? What questions are coming from your groups you're running? Where's everybody hosed? What does everybody need? What's some truths we could lay down?
I don't know. Sometimes, I see most of the people from the group, they just going because they're just going with life. In which I'm not anybody to question what they do with their life, but I feel like, you have that feeling of man, try to do something, do something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you actually do that? Tell people that when you see that kind of stuff?
Okay, so that's an interesting one, right? And if I was to rephrase your question or the problem that's in front of you is, you see people not taking advantage of the opportunities in front of them, and you feel like you would, so they should. All right. Notice how I phrased that last part. You're putting your framework on someone else. Okay. Imagine if I put my framework on an 8-year-old child. They're going to fail miserably, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I have my expectations for them, that's ridiculous.
Right.
You're better than others. You're more driven. You have more to you. So if you apply your framework to others, they're going to fail. They're going to disappoint you. You got to get over that. You got to understand they're different. You got to help them be the best them. Now, to do that, you just leave little breadcrumbs, right? Just leave little breadcrumbs. Show them the cool part. Show them the good things. Show them an opportunity without chastising them. Show them, hey, what if I helped you do that real quick? Instead of, why don't you do that real quick? You know what I mean? Make them feel good and positive about it. Right? If you got punched in the face every time you brushed your teeth, would you brush your teeth? Probably not. But if you got paid $10 every time you brush your teeth, you'd probably do it more often, right? You know what I mean? Praise is incredibly undervalued and undergiven, right? So if someone does something that you like, what do a lot of people say? Oh, it's about time you did that, or why didn't you do that sooner? Well, now they're not going to do it again. And if you go overboard, oh my God, thank you for doing that, and finally doing what I asked, well, that's bullshit too, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you tell them you're proud of them, now they're more likely to do it again. If you tell them, hey, I really appreciate you doing that part. That's super cool. And leave it at that. Not, I told you so, or I have to be right, or see, I told you. No, you don't need that bullshit.
Yeah, it's to be in a positive way that keeps them.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody has to have a sense of importance, right? So you got to figure out what their, 6 basic human needs are. Are they certainty, uncertainty, significance, love and connection, growth and contribution? If they're significance driven, then they need to be praised in front of everybody and have a title and all that kind of crap. Or if they're certainty based, they need a regular schedule and they need to know what's going on. And they need right? Yeah. You got to figure out who everybody is so that you can get them in the right spot and get them the right information and get them doing the right thing, right?
Right.
And again, some people just need a sense of importance, okay? I want you to think about that for a minute, okay? So if you're getting that from somebody, okay, stop for a minute, take your framework off, and put on this framework, okay? Why are they doing that? What call for help are they making? Yes. If someone is self-deprecating and they beat up on themselves, they're trying to get you to compliment, because they probably don't get compliments from anyone else. If you actually went and studied their parents, the parents are probably rough on them. Their partner's probably not very, person to build them up. They're pining for attention. They're trying to get someone to see that they exist and that they're doing something cool. They need the sense of importance, right? So be the one that gives it to them. That's that little piece of positivity and that little confidence builder and that little, you did a good job. I've got staff that would rather me tell them they did a good job than get an extra $5,000. Seriously. No, because they don't get it from anywhere else. I see that as a coach, right? When I'm coaching kids in basketball, and I watch their parents just fucking destroy them. You can't even tie your shoes right. Why don't you run faster and all this kind of stuff? And I tell them, hey, I really like the way you shot that layup. That was great. I like how you pushed off one foot. That was amazing. Who are they now listening to?
Yeah, it's that kind of stuff. Also, yeah, it's been a very, heavy load, like something like.
Well, your entire job is to get other people to do their job. That's it.
Right.
That's it. Not you do the job, because that's the easy way out. That's the coward's way out. Okay? If you're a leader and you're doing everything, you're a coward. You're not helping anybody. Get out of the position, resign immediately. Did you get what I just said there? Yeah. And that's if you're leading an organization and you got to do everything, resign now because you're not helping anybody. You don't tell anybody to do anything if you're a leader. There's a difference between a leader and a manager, right? You get that? Right. You don't have to be in charge to be a leader. You don't need a title to be a leader. You just need to be a leader. To me, above the door of my office out there, the word servant leader. That's what I do. I help people.
Right.
I don't tell anybody how to do anything. I'll make suggestions. I'll give them data. I'll give them ideas. I'll ask. I don't force anybody to do anything. I'm trying to create
Yeah.
more leaders. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you see at the end of the day, like after this guy like did everything, and like in this
But you
year I
got to
put.
ask. Let's say you were analyzing that for a minute, Freddie. You got to say, well, why did he do it that way?
Hmm?
Well, you got to ask, why did he do it that way? Right? Was he significance driven? Was he afraid of conflict? Did he just have crappy people around him and he didn't believe in them? What was it? Right? Because if you're dissecting it, then you can figure out how to not do it again. Right?
Right.
Now that you come in as leader, you don't go completely opposite everything you did. You ask the question, why? Maybe the people around him were terrible. Okay, we'll replace them. Maybe he just didn't like talking to people. Okay, well, I need to talk to people. Maybe it wasn't clear what anybody was supposed to do. Sit down and write an accountability chart for all the positions. Maybe no one was checking in to make sure anyone did anything. Okay, well, let's have some reports and metrics. Build an organization, right? You're going to run a company one day, so you've got to understand that everyone in your building is a person first. So you got to help them get where they're trying to get, right? And then a tool or a machine to produce something. And what does, if you're programming a machine, what do you got to give it? Quality inputs, the right materials, power, all those kind of things, right? You can't just tell it to do something. You got to give it all the things it needs to be able to produce that. And that's on you as the leader to figure that out.
Right. Like, yeah, and people tell me, it's like, hey man, like this year you really put us to work.
Sure. And some may even say it underhanded and complaining.
Yeah, but others they feel like it was better last year, and I'm like, what do you mean? And like it's funny because like the school like had
Well, do you have a culture of celebration within your group? When
uh
somebody does something, do you guys celebrate it?
like
Or do you say, oh, finally?
like no. We just, for example, when they post like the newsletter, which it takes time for the marketing team and everything, like we tend to like shout out the
Yeah.
it was amazing
Tell them they
work.
absolutely killed it.
Right.
Yeah. Bring it up in the next meeting. Show them how awesome they are. Talk it through. Yeah, get some recognition, right?
Right. And there's like this misconception that I have to find the jobs to everybody, like with the organization. It's like,
Well, you've got a lot of people that are like, tell me if you need any help. I'm like, no. Come get something to do and do it. But you've got to build that culture.
cause yeah, we share the information that we have and everything, and they're like my vice president, he has the mentality that the previous president had, that it has to be like hard work, and when he was explaining his position to the other people so they can like run for that one, he was like, I worked like 24 hours for this, like passively for this, and I'm like, dude, you gotta set boundaries and
Well, remember, he's trying to get some credit for what he did.
so
Maybe in his family he was taught your work ethic, how much work you put in is the most important thing in life. So now he's doing that and he wants some recognition for it. Maybe y'all didn't give it to him.
no, yeah, like I
You know
do
what I mean?
I do give it to him, and I tell everybody.
For me, I actually do the opposite sometimes with my main staff, is I will limit their time.
Yeah, and
I'll tell them they only have 2 hours to do it. And what's funny is they'll still get it done exactly the same.
Yeah,
Because the job will expand to fill the container that you put it in. If you give something 2 days, it'll take you 2 days. If you give it 20 minutes, you can probably get it done in 20 minutes. And now have 2 days to do other shit, right?
Yeah, and yeah, we had this discussion with the team that they wanted to do this way, other people wanted to do it this way. I was like, and he texted me privately. He's like, "Hey man, like I'm so burned out, like because this is last semester in his senior design project.
Too much going on."
And he was like, "Hey, like,
well, that should be the first question at the beginning of every semester for your officers: is what's your course load? Because you're there to get them a degree, not.
That's what I told him. Like, I told him like, hey, you can't forget about SHEP for the whole week.
Well, the
I'll
thing is that
take.
they've got to understand that if they don't give it back to you, they failed you.
Yeah, like, and I don't know if he has that mentality that if he doesn't give anything like every week, he's gonna feel like he's nobody for the,
Well,
or
give him a task. Next week, you do nothing.
yeah, that's gonna be.
No,
Right,
that's what we need you to do. You need to come back fresh because in 2 weeks, we have a really big challenge for you.
Yeah, like I told him,
Or just have them think about stuff and then come back with their ideas. And you as a leader, you got to be in tune to your staff as well. So when you're building your business, you got to be in tune to your people and when they're starting to burn out. You got to listen for those cues. You got to watch for those cues. You'll see it. There'll be the comments and the work and the things going on. You'll notice them up at weird hours and those kind of things. You got to keep an eye out for those people. Because hard-driven people are just going to keep going. They'll burn themselves out pretty quick and then you lose them.
right,
And then everybody failed.
right, yeah. I told the guys like, hey, take the week off. And you see him like on Monday sending shit like in the chat, like reminders for everybody. I'm like, shit.
I had a professor do that to me in grad school. I walked in and he was like, "You look like hell." He's like, "Go home. I got your class." Because I was teaching. He's like, "I got your class. I'll see you in 3 days." That was the coolest thing. I went and slept for like 20 straight hours.
Yeah.
It's because he understood people. He understood what was going on, right? Some profs would have just pushed me to do more work, right? So you got to be careful. Leader takes care of their people and their machines and their tools and their equipment, right? Services it, takes care of it, feeds it, waters it, makes sure it has power, right? That way you get the outputs that you're looking for. So you got to start studying these people, Freddy, as the drama is building around you and ask the question, why is this building right now? What does this person actually need? What are they crying out for?
Do you actually find out by asking directly to the person, or
Sometimes they don't know. You can ask yourself in the beginning, if I was them, why would I be acting this way? Let me think about it. Oh shit, they got 2 tests this week. Right? Can't put your own framework on them because you don't understand their life because you're not living their life. But if you get put yourselves in their shoes for a minute, maybe you can understand. And I had that recently. Hey, why isn't so-and-so getting their work done? You know they're taking the PE exam in 2 weeks, right? They're probably a little stressed. Why don't you go take some work off of their plate? Why don't you do the opposite and understand your fellow staff and go help them? And in fact, we're all people, Freddy. We all got to help one another and we all got to listen and understand each other, right? That's how we create a better good by all working together. We're better together than we are apart.
right? I try helping them as much as I can.
Sure.
When they cannot, like, I can put my hand like on that. But sometimes they don't. They just don't give a fuck and they just keep going and like they ended up like this and I'm like.
Gotcha. All right, let's ask because I don't remember. You said you had to go at some point.
5:30.
Oh, you got plenty of time. I don't know. I got a shit ton of stuff to do. Let's. Did we get your question answered?
Yes.
Okay, I think we got you covered, right?
Yes.
All right. Let's ask you 2 questions, and then let's just see what kind of coolness we get out of this. So we go back in time.
Okay.
You're back in Venezuela. Maybe you're first starting school in America. What's a piece of advice that you got that was amazing?
My piece of advice: get involved in as many things as you can, because that way you can find out what you really want to do. The other one was to create a LinkedIn profile as early as you can, because you build connections from there.
Sure. Okay, and now conversely, let's go back in time. What were some pieces of advice, 1 or 2, that were completely off base, that were completely wrong?
That you have to get a job once you graduate. Yeah, this come from family. Like that, yeah, that you have to get a job, and then after that you build your family and you're set. Because I feel like there's a whole lot of things between that you can do, you know. For me, that's clearly offset. The other part is getting your master's degree will get you more money on your career. Which is funny because I know people that don't have a master's degree and they are like in higher up positions. And I know people with master's degrees that they're not where they want to be.
Right.
So that kind of like title recognition thing that we talked before, I feel like it's pretty. There's a misconception there, which it can help you, yes, but it's not 100% guaranteed.
Right. It's not like one for one, tit for tat, exactly that.
Yeah.
Right. It could help you, but if you just do that and just wait on it to happen, it's probably not going to happen.
Right.
It's kind of what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Anything else we need to tell these kids?
Keep learning. I understood that learning never stops.
Sure.
Even if you graduate and you're like, shit, yeah, I don't have to take classes anymore and everything.
No, you still got to work on you and your career, right?
Yeah.
You still got to get smarter. You still got to learn how to do things. You still got to train.
Right.
You got to keep moving. Because we're obsolete 2 days after we graduate, right?
Yeah.
Probably before that.
Yeah, after you graduate.
Technology's already changed. Everybody's using new software, or coding a new way, or doing it differently.
Yeah, it's your brain.
Just a continually rolling new thing every single day.
And see everything as a process. Like, okay, I'm starting here. I want to get here. What do I need for this? It's like those kind of games that you need, like, you know, the armor,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the good sword. Otherwise, if you don't get like the good ones and the good weapons or anything to beat the boss or everything, like if you don't have that, they'll crush you.
Right.
But if you have that, you crush it. So.
Oh, that's cool.
I
That's a good way of looking at it. All right, if you could ask me one last question for the rest of time and you never got to talk to me again, what would you ask me?
What's your goal in 20 years?
That's what you'd want to know. So you'd want to do something for me, not for you. That's kind of interesting. And why is that? You looking for inspiration or direction?
Like you asked me about my horizon and everything. Because I see you, like you work hard on the companies and everything. And I believe like you spend a lot of time in this office and you work, which is what you like to do. But at the end of the day, I want to know like what's your horizon, like at your stage, because this will be my point of view from 22 years old to to like 30, 40s.
Right.
And I want to see it from your perspective to
yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? For me, I need to find and create more leaders. So I create people who create people. That's my new personal directive. So my attempt for whatever time I have left is to do that for as long as I possibly can in whatever context that I can. That might be building companies, that might be teaching, that might be running out this channel, that might be whatever path that ends up taking. You know, you said before you want to build a business that helps people and you'd like it to also get you some money so you can do cool stuff, right?
Right.
Same boat, my man. Same thing. Just keep doing it bigger and better and stronger. To me, it's also finding more and more people to push and inspire me. So I'm trying to level up the people that I hang around. You know, you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. So I'm just trying to level up those people. There's a couple of groups of us, small groups, where we're all kind of at the same spot. We're just trying to get better all together. We're trying to notch everybody up one time and trying to bring everybody with us. So we're looking for people who are better than us and trying to hang out with them and do stuff with them, get them involved in our groups. I'm just trying to find and imprint and connect with more and more people because, you know, if I've got 50 of us doing what I'm doing, then we're making a pretty damn big impact, right? Right. We could probably do things more efficiently because we can do them efficiently at scale. You know, I'll just give you one for instance. A lot of us needed video editing to do channels like this. And so we had a buddy who was helping his dad's IT company and he hated it. He just couldn't stand it. Boring. It was killing him. He wants to start something new. So, right, why don't you start this video editing company? So Super Spreader Media was born and now Roman's absolutely killing it, helping out quite a few channels just like mine and, you know, helping us get the word out there. So there's so much opportunity that you can do to help those around you. And that's kind of what I'm looking for next is how do I get everybody helping everybody, help everybody. That's what the company is all about. That's why we have a marketing services and a business services division. Because we're in there helping a guy that is a welder and he doesn't know how to get projects. So we're going to help him so he can keep welding. And he doesn't know how to handle his books. So we're going to help him with that so he can keep welding. Because there's precious few of us actually doing stuff. We don't have engineers, welders, pipe fitters, all that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
So the few people that are out there, we got to help them with everything else. So that's kind of my next 20 years of building that out. I've also got some small personal projects. We're going to build a basketball gym here in the county for kids to practice at and have a place to go. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a massive undertaking. It'll take a couple of years to get in place. So I've got a lot of those things that I'm working on. And then I've got like 3 or 4 companies I could start if I had a person to start them right now. So I just got to find more people.
I don't know if I can ask one more.
Sure. What you got? Let's give you one more question.
One more. Which is one of the things that you talked about, which can help other people. Which you mentioned about your circle, like the circle around you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you hang out with 5 people and you're the 6th, you're gonna become also the one like them. Right now in school, it is tough for me to find that kind of people.
Sure.
Like, I can see some people that are in my classes that think similar to me, but I don't know if at the end of the day they're gonna have this like same vision of a goal as me.
Do they need to have the same vision?
They don't. They
So
do
be
not.
careful with that. Don't filter yourself to what you're thinking, because you actually want some contrarian views, right?
Okay.
And I'll just give you an example. My mom used to watch Fox News 24 hours a day. That's the only source of news she had in the world. So what did she think the world was like, right?
Right.
Right. You need multiple sources.
Okay.
Right, you need Fox News and CNN and Reddit and TikTok and talking to people and going outside, right?
Yeah.
Now you have some idea of what's actually going on in the world. So same thing, don't always just align with people that are your color, creed, where you're from, talk like you, think like you. You don't want that.
Right.
You want a very diverse group.
Yeah, and I know that with your group, you want people that help you grow.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You want people that are interested in helping you grow.
Right.
That's one of the coolest things that with the big group I'm in, the only thing anyone starts asking you is how they can help you. And it's completely different than most places you go, right?
Right.
Go to like a local city council commerce meeting or whatever. Everybody's trying to sell each other crap. It's a bunch of real estate agents and insurance agents and local bankers trying to sell each other garbage. When you meet people, most people will ask you for something. Okay, in my group, when you meet somebody, they ask you, what are you up to and how can I help you?
Because, yeah.
That's mammothly different, right?
Yeah.
You want to be around people like that. And that's an easy way to find those people, Freddy. So look around for people who are making an impact. Go acknowledge them. Hey, man, I see what you're doing. How can I help you? Mm-hmm. There's a thing called reciprocity, right? If you help them, at some point, they're going to want to help you. And you don't necessarily go into it for that. It's just something. It's a product of the good that you've put into the system, right? And then you start to see how they think and how they act and what they do and all those kind of things. And again, you're looking for people who aren't necessarily you because you aren't the most successful you that you're going to be, right?
Right.
So if you're just listening to you, it's like, I'm listening to Fox News. Probably not going to get there.
Because, yeah.
Probably going to be angry a lot. Right?
Because I have, like, you know, my visions of the future and everything.
Mm-hmm. And many of them are complete bogus crap and will never happen. And others are incredibly brilliant, right?
Yeah, and like my thing is like
you just want somebody to talk about it with.
Like when we're at college, you know, like lunchtime, you know, like going out like after classes to dinner and talk about that stuff. But that's very hard for me.
You're not going to find that many people. There aren't a lot of entrepreneurial people to begin with. To then find them in a technology trade in college and school for being an engineer, probably not going to find them. That's okay. You'll find some people.
How do you find that people?
Find what people?
Like that kind of people. Like
entrepreneurial people?
Circle.
Go to an entrepreneurial event. Actually, I just went, week before last. I went to Disney for the week, and on the front and back end, I met with people from my group. We hung out, figured out businesses, and came up with new products, and talked about how to change the world and all kinds of stuff. While shooting pool and drinking scotch and hanging out in the hot tub and having a good time. How did I meet those people? I found an event and went to it. I found a forum and started talking. I mean, I'm a mod on one of the biggest entrepreneurial forums on the entire internet. How did I get there? I just lurked for like 5 or 6 years, and then one day a guy named Steve-O that I'm now really good friends with made some comment, and I literally got a screen name and posted, "I'm so fucking pissed at what you just said that I finally just signed in after 5.5 years of working, and here's what I think." And then over the years, he and I became friends. And that led me to finding other people and going to some events, and eventually kind of changing my life, meeting a shit ton of cool people. Well, that's what it takes. Sign up for Toastmasters, find the next entrepreneurial event. You go to one of these Grant Cardone events or something. Just start talking to people. Get on some, find a few forums. Hit me up on some of the forums I'm on. Just start talking to people. Eventually, when you're ready, I might even take you to one of my group events. I just took my comptroller this past February and just completely broke his brain and completely changed his entire world. By the 4th day, he was on the beach hugging me, weeping. Whole world was completely changed. It was red pill, blue pill, and he took it. So yeah, just get out there and start meeting people and talking to them. And another thing is be very careful to not dismiss people, right?
No, yeah, of course.
Don't disdain them and push them to the side and think that there's nothing you could ever get from them.
Yeah,
everyone you meet, you can learn something.
Yeah.
You might learn they're an idiot, and cool. They showed you, you learned it, neat. I'll move on. But you can learn something from everybody. And you can also help everybody. So
yeah,
start by helping, but look for people who are better off and ask how you can help them.